LLB, Lesson 4. The 4 Meaning Blocks. The engine you have been using your whole life. What this lesson does. Lessons 1 to 3 Clear delusions. Words are not the language, grammar is not the engine, sound comes after meaning. Lesson 4 finally names the engine. This lesson does not teach you something new. It reveals what you already use unconsciously. The core claim, everything depends on this. Every human sentence, in every language, reduces to 4 meaning components. No exceptions. No special cases. No advanced structures. Everything else is decoration. The 4 blocks, say them once. Every meaning you express contains 1. Agent, who is involved. 2. Event, what happens. 3. Patient, what the event affects. 4. Frame, when, why, how, or under what condition. That's it. This is not grammar. This is meaning structure. Why this matters so much. If you can build meaning cleanly, language becomes a rendering problem, not a thinking problem. You no longer ask, greater than how do I say this sentence? You ask, greater than what is happening? Language attaches itself automatically. Block 1, Agent, who the agent is the actor. It can be a person, a group, an object, an idea, yourself, something implied. If something is involved, it fills the agent slot. You identify agents effortlessly in daily life. Block 2, Event, what happens. The event is the action or state. It answers. What is happening? What is changing? What exists? What is desired? Events are not verbs yet. They are happenings. Language will later choose the verb. Block 3, Patient, what is affected. The patient is what the event acts upon. It might be a physical object, a person, an idea, an outcome, something implicit, nothing at all. Not every sentence has a patient. But when something is affected, this is where it lives. Block 4, Frame, context. The frame sets context. This includes time, reason, condition, location, manner, contrast, frequency. Frames answer. When? Why? Where? How? Under what condition? Frames shape meaning more than any other block. A complete meaning example, no language yet. Consider. Greater than, you want to leave now. Without words, the meaning is agent, you event, want to leave. Patient, leaving, implicit, frame, now. Notice, the meaning is fully formed without language. Why grammar maps to blocks, but is not blocks traditional grammar talks about. Subject, verb, object, adverb, complement clause. These are descriptions of how blocks are rendered. Blocks are upstream. Grammar is downstream. LLB works upstream. Why blocks are universal. Languages differ wildly in grammar. They do not differ in meaning structure. All humans track. Who did something, what happened to whom, under what conditions. This is why translation is possible at all. Blocks are the common substrate. Why you've never been taught this. Blocks are invisible because they are internal, they are prelinguistic, they feel obvious, they are assumed, not named. Teaching focuses on output, not structure. LLB makes the invisible visible. Why this simplifies everything. Once you see blocks, long sentences become simple, complex grammar collapses, fear of advanced language disappears, you stop guessing, you stop memorizing templates. You just build meaning. Why this does not limit expression. Some fear. Greater than, won't this oversimplify language? No. 4 blocks generate infinite meaning, just like a few musical notes generate infinite music. Complexity emerges from combination, not from more primitives. Multi-event meanings, important insight. Consider. Greater than, if you leave now, you arrive early. This is not complex. It is 2 block sets linked by a frame. First meaning. Agent, you event, leave. Frame, now. Second meaning. Agent, you event, arrive. Frame, early. The connector is also a frame. Still 4 blocks. Just chained. Why frames are the power block. Frames are where nuance lives. Time. Logic. Condition. Contrast. Master frames, and your language explodes in power without adding vocabulary. This is why LLB will focus heavily on frames later. Blocks exist before words. Again, children use blocks before words. They point. They gesture. They cry differently. They combine intention with context. Language later labels those blocks. LLB reverses the forgetting process. The mental shift you must make. Replace this. Greater than I need to learn how to say this sentence. With this. Greater than what are the blocks of this situation? Language becomes mechanical. Fluency becomes inevitable. What Lesson 4 has installed, if it worked, if this lesson landed, you now. See meaning as structured, recognize the 4 blocks everywhere, stop fearing sentence complexity, feel language shrinking into simplicity, understand why this will scale. This is the core architecture. Everything else is implementation. Completion criteria. You are done with Lesson 4 when you can identify agent/event/patient/frame in any situation. You stop thinking in sentences, you start thinking in scenes. Complexity feels smaller, not bigger. You feel ready to attach language. If this feels obvious, that's correct. Foundations always do. What comes next? Lesson 5 finally introduces language rendering. This is where French appears for the first time. But now it will feel safe, because the engine is already built. End of Lesson 4, the engine is visible. Rendering begins next.